Welcome back. You're watching Closing Bell in our special cricket studio. We've got with us Ayaz Menon, Ajay Srinivasan, the CEO of Aditya Birla Corporation, and a regular guest on CNBC TV 18, Phani Sekhar. Gentlemen, good afternoon to both of you, since you all have just joined us. But Ayaz, my first question goes to you. Dhoni's on, on the pitch, as they say. Is he going to save this match for us?
Well, there's no question of saving it. Either you win it or you lose it. And I think the pressure is, is enormous now. You're running out of overs. The target is getting bigger and bigger. And I think it's, look, barring the unpredictable, the miraculous, this looks like it's going to be Australia's day.
The glorious uncertainty of cricket. No, it doesn't happen.
No, nothing glorious about that at all, right?
So I asked Australia or New Zealand, who's the favorite for final now?
That's a cruel question.
If we lose today and Australia is in the final, then I sincerely hope that New Zealand cut them down to size for doing what they did to us, but also for having a new champion. A new world champion will be terrific.
Ajay, where do you come in on this cricket conversation? Disappointed that we don't seem to have sort of come out front?
I think actually if you look at it, we've had a wonderful World Cup after the pretty dismal tri-series we had. So in a sense, I think there's that positive that's come out.
You're really grasping on straw to straws, looking for the silver lining in all of this.
Look for the positive in everything.
He's a long-term investor, so maybe the 2000,
building the team for the next World Cup.
Yeah, prepare the team for the next World Cup.
I agree with Ayaz. I think it's going to be difficult to recover from here, and I would be rooting for New Zealand too. I think if they got.
So at what point did you think this match had slipped out of our hands? Was it when we just lost?
I think Virat Kohli was very key for this game. If you were going to get any chance of chasing 300 plus,
yes.
I think Virat Kohli was key.
I think in the last 2 years, every match India has won chasing over 300. Virat Kohli has scored 100 or has gone close to scoring 100. So that clearly was the crucial wicket.
Phani, are you as big a cricket fan as everybody else in this studio?
I am, and I am equally disappointed.
Okay. Do you want to call where we're going to end this match or how we're going to lose it, or would you rather call a level on the Nifty?
I think calling a level on Nifty will be more honourable.
Should we talk about markets? What do you make of today's action? It's been a brutal cut.
Yes, it is, but it doesn't so much concern me because it is predominantly coming out of FII selling, and as we have seen so many times in the past, when there are no structural concerns to the construct of the market, and when it arises out of a technical issue of FII selling, and that too because of a Yemenis problem, which I'm sure nobody till yesterday was talking about. I'm sure that this is a problem that will resolve itself because fundamentally, compared to where we were, say, at 30,000, things are improving. You had a couple of ordinances turn into legislations, you had a successful coal auction, you had a successful telecom auction. So I don't think one should be too much seriously concerned, and from the top we have lost 8%. Of course, some high beta stocks have corrected by their very nature by 12 to 15%, but I think that should be okay for a longer term investor.
You take a longer view to this market, Ajay, and I'm not asking you for today's action, but today's action seems to sort of emphasize the weak trend we've seen through the course of this month in March, and also I think there seems to be underlying disappointment, right, that the economy is not picking up as much as we thought it would.
I think that probably hasn't changed as much as the fact there's no real trigger for the market at this point, Menka. So I expect the market to kind of drift till you get some new triggers. I think people are not expecting great quarterly earnings, for the March quarter, so that's not going to be something that's looking up. I don't think internationally there are any great positive triggers that are going to come. The FOMC is out of the way. Whatever has to happen will happen. So I think it's going to take a while for the market to kind of find feet and go forward.
What is a while means? A couple of months, 3-4 months?
Yeah, I would say
better part of this year.
No, I would say 6 months. I think in the next 6 months you'll see the market kind of finding its direction once again, because I think you'll have to let this earnings season go, and then I think you'll start seeing some positive signs. I think you've got to start seeing signs from the budget. The government push, I think, has to start translating into stuff. So you've got to start seeing the infrastructure spend on the ground. You've got to see tenders being set out. I think that sign will be good enough for the market to realize that we're once again.
Ajay, we saw retail participation pick up in December, January,
yes.
And those investors must be weeping right now if they bought in at those highs, because the market's really thereafter shown no performance, so to speak, right?
I think you've got to buy these markets with a longer term view, Menka. And I think therefore if they looked for a short.
But are you already seeing, let's say, some inflows peter off because people are saying, look, we seemed more optimistic 2 months ago, 3 months ago, but this market is confusing us yet again, so we're going to stay away?
No, we are still seeing good flows in equity mutual funds. I think that trend is continued. Obviously, towards the end of March, that does slow down by itself. But I think by and large, I think with the investors we are seeing at least are taking a much longer term view and believe that the structural story is pretty much intact. And therefore, if you're buying, put money into SIPs and kind of play the long game. And I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. Guys, markets?
Yeah, just one more word on cricket actually from Ayaz before we get to some more market views. Ayaz, from die-hard fans, they're asking if Dhoni can play that, old Dhoni kind of innings, helicopter shots and all. Is it time for that, the last-ditch effort? Try to unsettle Aussies now and maybe score 50 or 60 quick runs.
Well, I think the attempt is there, but he probably is caught in this dilemma that if he gets out, there is absolutely no chance of India even achieving or getting anywhere close to the score. So he has to preserve his wicket as well as try and keep the target in control if at all there has to be a victory bid. So I think he might move in fits and bursts, and if he's still around at the end of the 40th, 41st, 42nd over and Ajinkya Rahane is also with him, then you never know, you might at least have an exciting finish.
Alright, so barring, almost a miracle, it looks like the day going to end in disappointment. But what are the positives you take away from this tournament, Ayaz? Have we set the ground for the next World Cup where we'll go in with a,
really?
this is a young
what
team.
we're discussing this afternoon now?
No, but going ahead, I think, there are some very good positives to take from this tournament. Certainly the bowling. I think India have been extremely good. They didn't bowl Australia out today, but they got 7 wickets, which was not a bad show at all on this kind of a pitch. I think the batting has failed India in the semi-finals so far. We don't know how the outcome of the match so far. But we've got a young team which has bowled well, which has fielded superbly. Now I hope that from the one day, they translate these kind of skills and performances even in the test match format, because our test match record has been very, very dismal. We were always a good one-day team. We've become, I think, in my opinion, a better one-day team, never mind what happens today, but we really need to become a good test team again.
Okay, Ajay, your favorite moment of the series so far?
Well, I think a couple of really good knocks. I loved Ajinkya Rahane's knock against South Africa. I think that was really an amazing knock. I went to see the India-Pakistan game. I mean, it was.
Oh, you did,
that was an incredible game as well. I think with Kohli's 100 was a great start.
Are you happy that you didn't stay on for the semis and the finals?
It was too long a stay in any case. But I think there's a lot to take away from this tournament. I think the bowling, as Ayaz mentioned, I think the fielding has been outstanding. But I think the team, just the team spirit after the drubbing we got in the tri-series and the earlier game, the team spirit to come back and play this kind of World Cup, I think that is a lot to take away from that.
Phani, quickly, your favorite moment?
My favorite moment has been the entire India-South Africa match, and I agree with Ajay. The Ajinkya Rahane knock of India-South Africa match was wonderful, but what was, in a larger context, the turnaround of this team from hopelessness to hopefuls, or I would say coming very close to defending the title. We don't know what happens today, but I think that has been the flavor of the season.
Okay, we have Sudarshan Sakhani with us as well, so we're going to go back into markets and get a sense from him on what he makes of the big declines that we've seen today. Sudarshan, a quick word in from you.
Well, why markets? I had, with my office colleague, I had a bet that Australia would win. My bet was on Australia. So, well, so
and where were they better than Nifty?
For the last 20 days, we have been telling you the Nifty is going down. I think that call was even better than Australia.
Oh dear God, it's a good thing, Sudarshan, you're not on Twitter, otherwise you'd get a lot of hate tweet right now for betting against India at this point. But a quick comment on the fact that we're now, 600 points down on the Sensex, 200 points down on the Nifty at 83.45, and we were at 8,700 barely, 48 hours ago?
But you have to take profits now. You should be short. We have been telling you to go short from 8,900 downward. Take profits. We have come to a very strong support zone. This support may or may not hold, but for traders, you have to take the money off the table and put it in your bank. Do not carry positions from today onwards. At least we'll see how the markets then pan out. The downtrend is not over, but at least a pause is quite possible. That's one part of it. And quickly I'll tell you the 3 stocks that I should be telling you to go and trade for a BTST. They are all short selling ideas. Frankly, I do not trade ever on a day when the FNO is expiring. But still the names are very easy to say. ONGC breaking down continuously, and Jubilant Foods and ACC, which are now giving distribution patterns and breaking down from those patterns at some intermediate tops.
So we begin a new series tomorrow, and then next week is a really truncated week. We just got 3 trading days. So what kind of action would you expect?
So we have to wait for this market to start building a base, stop falling. That should happen. We have come to a very strong support zone. If that base building process starts, then we'll see what patterns are coming. We've had a very good month for traders. I'm not saying the markets are falling. That's good for traders who are on that side of the market, following the trend. So wait, just big positions should be taken after the holidays.
All right, let's get some insight into what's going on in dealing rooms this afternoon, as dealers are disappointed, I'm sure, with both the outcome of the markets and the cricket front. Nimesh is standing by with Trader Talk. Nimesh, it's a gloomy afternoon, I suppose.
Yes, man, but you know what, at least the dealers have not given up the hope on possible India win. So watch out for what happens in the next 20 hours. You know, the feedback is if India can score 115 in 30 overs, they can easily double in the last 20 overs. And if Dhoni stands by, probably
that's the feedback from Morgan Stanley, or
you can't just until, you know, so you can't just give up that, you know, India is going to lose this match. So it's basically a patriotic hope, but yes, it's a hope. Even from a market point of view, the sense is today's fall is largely large cap driven because of F1 expiry, and there was a huge rumor of a big basket selling by a large FI that has pulled the markets down. Never in the day, we saw an attempt of a pullback either by short covering or by genuine buying. So that's, today was a day of a one-sided trade. It was largely selling on the.
Was it an Australian FII?
No, Menka, no, Menka. So anyway, so the point is, we've come to a very crucial level. Even Sudarshan spoke about the very crucial technical level. That seems to be a level, the 8350 is what a lot of dealers are talking about as a very strong support. So if market takes support from those levels, you might see a bit of an near-term pullback, and that's something a lot of dealers are talking about. So today is a day of large cap selling, largely because of the expiry. But I guess dealers have not given up the hope on the match and even on the markets to recover from these levels.
Okay. That basket may have played out because look at the cash market volumes. All of a sudden, it's
21,000.
It's 22,000 crores.
Same thing, yeah.
We were 14,000 crores at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And in a matter of 26 minutes, we've added 8,000 crore. Nimesh, could that be possible? We've added 8,000 crore in cash market in just 20 minutes of trade.
Could be possible, Anuj. I guess this kind of volumes on F1 expiry is largely F&O driven. So it doesn't look like there was a big selling by the FIs in the cash market. Of course, numbers will say as to what kind of selling was there. But the kind of fall we saw in the large cap names, you'll definitely see a decent FI sell number into this trade. But it doesn't look like there was a huge 2,000 crore kind of nifty selling by the FIs into this trade.
All right, Nimesh, thanks very much. We've got just a few minutes left to go before markets close for the day. Mangalam got his eye on some stocks that are making big moves today. Mangalam, 30 seconds.
Well, tell you what, a lot of stocks are buzzing in trade today. A lot of losers. RS Software is down about 10%. Deccan Gold Mines is down about 10.5%. Vibrant Digital down 5%. Locked in lower circuit. VMS Industries is down about 7.5% when I last checked. Interesting volume action going on that one. Volumes are up close to 50 times versus their 10-day average. A lot of mid-cap pharma stocks are losing. Nectar Life Sciences down 5%. Below, it broke its 100-day moving average today. NIIT is down about 4% as well. First Source is down in trade. Spark is down about 5% in trade as well. Remember, this one's up around 150% for the year. Markson's Pharma is down 5% as well. Esteem Bio hits lower circuit, while PTC India Financial Services is also seeing some selling. However, the match is not over till the last ball is bowled. We have a few positives. Axis Cades is up 10%. Remember, it hit upper circuit yesterday as well. Jyoti Structures is up in trade. Amtech India is up 5%. Reports say that the company is in talks to buy TRW's auto suspension business. United Bank of India is up as well, and GSPL finally is active in trade as the government allows import of RLNG as well.
All right, it ain't over till Dhoni's out, I suppose, as opposed to the fat lady singing. Thanks very much for that, Mangalam. 3 minutes to go. Phani, any suggestions, since you look at stocks on a more short-term basis than Ajay does? Any suggestions on what should you do in this new series?
I'll be series agnostic, and okay. I would like to accumulate in financial services, auto, IT, and pharma. That's saying that 75 to 80% of the market is a buy.
Okay, but you would like to accumulate at these levels? Would you wait a little bit longer because you expect the markets to decline further? Would you in fact put most of your money in cash right now and only pull a little bit out to invest in these sectors?
I don't think this is a market to go into cash. Forget selling. I think if you are in cash, this is a good time to start getting into equities. The golden rule is never put all your money at one go, but sure. It is a good time to start nibbling in. I don't see this as a protracted correction. At best or at worst, it might be a time-wise, it might be a protracted correction, but on price levels, I think you are more or less.
So you're not looking at 8,000 or 7,800 levels playing out in the next month or two?
Well, this is market, things can play out, but even if they play out, I look at levels closer to 8,500 in a week's time, whenever you hit 7,800 or 8,000, because I think those levels are unsustainable considering the long-term attractiveness of the country.
Okay, a minute to go, Anuj.
Indeed, Mayank, just about 50 seconds. So the market will close with deep cuts. The Nifty would close below 8,400 comfortably. The last 30-minute average would also mean the Nifty that could be somewhere around 83.60 or 70 thereabouts. High turnover towards the end. But let's talk about stocks. Nothing was spared pretty much except for cement and a couple of telecom stocks. So Ultratech, Ambuja and Bharti Airtel, they were spared the blushes, but apart from that, on the losing side, the troika of stocks that led the market down, HDFC, Infosys and HDFC Bank. You can add stocks like ICICI Bank, Tata Motors, Axis Bank, SBI, pretty much everything except telecom and a couple of other names like cement names, Menaka, everything was down.
Let me give you a series perspective, Anuj. The Nifty down about 4%, 3.8% this series. The Sensex down 4.3%. The Bank Nifty down almost 4%. The mid-cap space, much better place, so to speak, right? Just 0.2% down this series. And the small cap space down about 3%. Big sectoral losers, FMCG, 10% hit on that
Mainly
sectoral
because of
index.
ITC.
Metal, yeah, ITC, and also in the last 3-4 days, I think HUL has also sort of given up
Series to date, it
strength.
would still be positive, but
Yeah.
ITC would be the
Metals down 10%, power down 6%, IT down 5%. So there was really nowhere to hide with the exception of healthcare, which is the only sector that's ended in the green this series, up 11.5%. So if you were invested in pharmaceuticals, you had a great March. Otherwise, you've just had a really tough March, as tough as the Indian team is seeing it today.
Indeed, Menaka, and I tell you something, it's not as bad, in fact it's worse, because the market started the series, went to all-time highs, had the rate cut. From that point, the market has corrected far more.
Yeah, I know, we keep forgetting this series started actually the day after the budget,
yes,
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
at one point we were up 5 or 6% for the series, and from that point to come where we are, and the fact that the mid-caps have actually not lost at all is a warning signal, because the bull market correction normally doesn't end like this. It ends with a lot of panic in the individual mid-caps.
Right.
We haven't really started that. I think that is where a lot of pressure could
Phani,
come.
you expect, pressure in the mid-cap space to come in the weeks to come, and that will really be, the real play out of this correction, so to speak?
Well, this merits a slightly nuanced analysis. The popular mid-caps have corrected. The high beta ones have corrected and they have caused enough panic. What has not corrected is our mid-caps in the
mid-cap index.
Mid-cap index, as well as those in the pharma or FMCG basket or auto ancillaries, the Motherson Sumi kinds, or the page industries and the consumers. Now, these kind of mid-caps, I don't expect a very, very material correction, but yes, as Anuj is rightly saying, there might be some correction which will probably signal the end of this bull market correction.
Okay. Sudarshan, any stocks that look promising to you today?
No, absolutely not. If you are an investor, and you should be, then I fully agree with Phani. This is a very good time to accumulate, start biting into financials, private sector banks and NBFCs. But don't expect the markets to rally from here. Just buy because you are an investor. For traders, don't even touch it. The markets will go lower.
All right, well, the markets have closed, so let's just do a bit of detour now and we'll come back to the market action. Let's go back to cricket. A bit of hope is again coming back. So, Ayaz, it's 150 now, 180 required in 18 overs, almost like a T20 situation. Dhoni and Rahane playing, still possible actually, right?
It is. I mean, technically, theoretically, it's possible, Anuj, but I think really the key was to hold wickets. The reason why Australia reached that big score was because they had wickets in hand. Almost till the end of the 35th over, they had lost only about 2 wickets. We've lost too many wickets. Now, if this pair bats out, plays out the power play, which will come from the 35th over onwards, and makes about 50-60 runs, if it's possible, then you're in with a chance, because then you've got Jadeja, Ashwin, who can shore up. At least gives you a chance, a hope. But if you lose a wicket in the power play, then I'm afraid we're looking down the barrel of a gun.
I has no place for ifs and buts in cricket, but how important was the toss, hand on heart?
very important. I think it gave a big advantage to Australia. They got first use of the wicket. Batting first, you post 300, the team chasing it is always under a lot of pressure. And then they got that big partnership going, which was obviously, just turned the kind of match around in their favour. We got back into the game picking up 3 or 4 wickets, but a score of 300 plus is always difficult to chase. So, the toss really a big factor in this match.
Okay, before we let you go, I would ask you again a forward-looking question. The next World Cup, how many of this team,
really?
how much of this team do you see forming the core of the next World Cup?
Kohli will be captain.
I think the core of the team should remain. I mean, I don't see why. I mean, these are high quality players, and not one of them, barring Dhoni, is 30 plus or even 30. So you've got actually a very young team there who should be there for 5, 6, 7. Some of them may last for 10 years more. So I see, barring form, complete loss of form or injury, most of them being around 4 years later.
Ajay, you have a question for Ayaz?
No, Ayaz, where do you think we lost the match today?
I think that it was very important that we had good partnerships at the start. I mean, we got off to a good start in the first 10 overs in the power play. We had the lucky breaks. They dropped a couple of catches. So we should have built up from there. The only way you could have won with chasing 329 is either somebody plays the innings of a lifetime, makes 180, 190, which is very difficult, or you have 2 or 3 really big partnerships. That's where we lost out.
Okay, the captain's still there. Let's not forget a couple there, what was it, 178?
175.
175, so yeah.
Ayaz, since hand on heart is the theme today, hand on heart, did you enjoy watching the markets more than cricket this afternoon?
Well, I think the market has been in a kind of a free fall. India's not been that bad today, though we haven't done well. So hopefully, I mean, look, if we have a good game still, I'm happy. If we reach about 290, 300, or if we can overhaul, that'll be great. I'll be over the moon.
Ajay, what are you betting on?
No, I think this partnership is critical. I think if these two guys bat it out, till the 45th over, then I think you're really looking at a close finish. So I would really watch this partnership, and Dhoni's got everything to go for. So it's all eyes on Captain Cool.
Okay, we've got differing views on this one. How would Yuvraj have made a difference?
Would Yuvraj have made a difference?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go into
in my camp.
Okay. We're going to go into a break. But let me tell you what our sorry, you want to say something?
Before we take a break, just wanted to thank Ayaz.
One second. So I just wanted to do a quick poll, right? We earlier spoke to the earlier guest. So Jake said that the chances of India winning were very slim. This was around 2:40 p.m. Mr. Singhvi at that time said the chances were none. Ayaz at that time said things were looking very grim. It's now 3:36 p.m. Ajay, put your neck on the line. Are we going to win this match or not?
Well, it's a very steep climb uphill. I mean,
No. Yes or no?
It's no buts.
Okay, fine. You can do the whole circle and come back to the point then.
I'll make it easy for you. I said no. I said yes.
You said yes. Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult. So I would say I don't like to say no for India ever, but I think it's going to be very difficult from here.
Going to be very difficult. Phani?
Odds 90% in favor of Australia.
Ye kis tarah ka challenge? Are we going to win or not? No, I suppose the answer is no. That's why you're hesitating to say it. Okay, Ayaz, if you're still with us at this point, do you want to change your answer? You said looking very grim. Still looking very grim?
Extremely grim, still looking very grim, but I'm willing to kind of risk putting my foot in my mouth and bunch it if we can win. I think I'll be delighted to do that.
Okay. All right, Ayaz, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. Here's what our viewers think. Some of that optimism has been toned down. So earlier, I think 67% of those polled said they believe that India will win this match and make it to the finals. Now that number's come down to 56%. So it looks like it's going to be.
What do you think? The game is cricket. We're playing Australia in the semi-final of the World Cup. What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to have to head into a quick break because right up next we've got Ravi Shankar. Okay, we're going to have to do it right now. We've got Ravi Shankar Prasad speaking and we're going to go across to him right now.